Hello and welcome to the 2023 Mooloolaba Triathlon Race Director Update. My name is Mel Kemp and I'm your Race Director. The Mooloolaba Triathlon respectfully acknowledges that our event is held on the traditional lands of the Kabi Kabi people and pays respects to the elders past, present and emerging. In this update, we'll cover off on the following: the Athlete Information Guide, a couple of key race reminders, a brief overview of the courses, and meet our event partners. Firstly, the Athlete Information Guide. The Athlete Information Guide contains all of the information that you will need to be ready to go come race morning. Here you will find course details and maps, information on the swim start, and important pre and post race information. And there's also some handy checklists to help you prepare for race day. I know for many of you, this is not only your first Mooloolaba Triathlon, but it's also your first triathlon, which is really exciting. And my best piece of advice for not only the newbies, but returning athletes, is to read the Athlete Information Guide, cover to cover, and remember that any race updates will be reflected in the online version of this document. A couple of key reminders. The festival precinct, so expo, merch and athlete check-in, can now be found in the new location in the Northern Parklands, right on the stunning Mooloolaba foreshore. Make sure you pre-book your check-in and bike racking times. Now, if you haven't done this already, please jump online and do so now, remembering that sprint athletes will need to rack their bikes on Friday and standard athletes will need to rack their bikes on Saturday. Swim start and transition. It's a little walk from the festival precinct to the Mooloolaba spit where the swim start and transition is located. So make sure you familiarise yourself with where everything is so you give yourself enough time on race morning and you're not rushing. So we'll now have a look at some of the event maps, firstly starting with the festival precinct. As I mentioned before, athlete check-in and the all-important merch store and the expo are now located in the Northern Parklands, right on the waterfront. So when you go to check-in, you'll also be able to see our finish line and recovery area, which is in nearby beach terrace. So we'll now take a look at Saturday's sprint race. This race has sold out and it's so good to see so many first-timers taking the course. So the sprint race will start with a swim down on the Mooloolaba spit, just a short walk from transition. Once you've set yourself up on race morning and left transition, you can drop your gear bags and head down to the beach. The race will start with a rolling category start. Here, athletes will be called to the starting area in age groups, where a small number of athletes are released in time intervals. So find your spot in the start line and enjoy the swim. Once the sprint athletes have completed the swim leg, they will head out onto transition and onto the bike. Here, athletes will complete 3 laps of the bike course. A point to note for returning athletes is there's a change of the course where you turn to complete your laps. Athletes will now turn back down Venning Street to complete their lap turns, only turning down Brisbane Road once as you head back into transition. The penalty box for the sprint course will be found right near transition. After successfully navigating 3 laps of the bike course, sprint athletes will return to transition and head out onto the run course. The sprint run is a 1-lap out and back course. There are 2 aid stations located on the sprint course at the Mooloolaba Surf Lifesaving Club and the Alexandra Headland Surf Lifesaving Club. After completing the run leg, soak up the atmosphere as you run down that finish chute and cross the finish line. We'll now take a look at Sunday's standard distance race. The standard distance swim will also start at the Mooloolaba split, just a short walk from transition. The race will also be a rolling category start, so be sure to check the swim start guide to see what time your start will be. Once out of the water and a quick transition, athletes will tackle a 1-lap out and back course that heads out through Mooloolaba and out onto the flat and fast Sunshine Motorway. A point to note here is the penalty box, situated on Butterham Avenue just before the exit onto the motorway. Once off the bike, athletes in the standard distance will then complete a 2-lap run course up and over the stunning and scenic hill at Alexandra Headlands, finishing down onto Beach Terrace and across the finish line to the cheers of family, friends and supporters. Before we wrap up, just a couple of key reminders. Remember, you can't leave anything other than the items you need to race with in transition. Anything else that you have with you on race morning will need to go in your gear bag and left with your pump, at the gear bag area just after you exit transition. Make sure you read the athlete information guide again before the weekend, and remember any updates will be reflected in the online version of the document. And whilst you're having an amazing time, be sure to thank the incredible volunteers who are out there to support you while you race. And along with the volunteers, we'd like to thank all of our incredible event partners. They play a critical role in the making of these events. So make sure you make the most of the amazing places to eat, drink, shop and experience all that the Sunshine Coast has to offer while you're here in Mooloolaba. And in closing, rest up this weekend, travel safe. The hard work has all been done and it's now time to enjoy it. I look forward to seeing you all in Mooloolaba this week and crossing that finish line on the weekend.